Think about the richest people alive today. Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates. Their combined wealth is measured in the hundreds of billions, and the world treats them like gods. Now imagine someone so wealthy that modern economists literally cannot calculate his fortune. Someone whose daily income was so vast that giving away gold like pocket change destroyed an entire country's economy. Not for days, not for weeks, for 12 years. His name was Mansa Musa, emperor of the Mali Empire, the richest human being who ever walked this earth, and most people have never heard of him. This is his story, and the story of why history tried to erase it. Welcome to Dark Chronicles, the stories history tried to hide. To understand who Mansa Musa was, you first need to understand the world he lived in. It is the year 1312. Europe is still struggling through the Middle Ages. Poverty, plague, and feudal wars define the continent. The great cathedrals are being built, but most Europeans live in wooden huts with dirt floors. Meanwhile, on the other side of the Sahara Desert, the Mali Empire is at the height of its power. Stretching across 2,000 miles of West Africa, the Mali Empire is one of the largest empires on Earth. It controls the most valuable trade routes in the known world, routes that carry gold, salt, ivory, and copper across the Sahara to North Africa, Arabia, and Persia. And at the very center of this empire, sitting on a throne that no European king could match, is a young man named Musa, who has just been crowned Mansa, emperor of all Mali. The Mali Empire's wealth came from two things: gold and salt. The gold mines of Bambuk and Bur in West Africa produced roughly half of the entire world's gold supply during the 14th century. Half of all the gold in the world. Salt, which in the ancient world was as valuable as gold itself, came from the Saharan mines of Tagaza, where slabs of salt were used as currency and traded across the continent. Every gram of gold and every slab of salt that moved through West Africa passed through the Mali Empire, and Mansa Musa taxed every single transaction. Modern economists have attempted to calculate his net worth. Some estimates reach $400 billion in today's money. Others go higher, but most historians simply say the number is incalculable. The economic systems of the 14th century cannot be reliably translated into modern currency. What we do know is this: Mansa Musa controlled more gold than any government or individual in history, before or since. Contemporary accounts describe Mansa Musa as a deeply devout Muslim, a brilliant military strategist, and a patron of art, architecture, and scholarship, unlike anything the medieval world had seen. Under his reign, Mali conquered the neighboring kingdom of Songhai. He expanded the empire's borders to their greatest extent. He built universities and mosques that attracted scholars from across the Islamic world. The city of Timbuktu, which most Westerners today associate with the phrase "the middle of nowhere," was under Mansa Musa one of the most important centers of learning on Earth. 25,000 students studied at its university. Its libraries held hundreds of thousands of manuscripts, but it was one journey, one single pilgrimage, that would make Mansa Musa the most talked about person in the medieval world. In 1324, the 12th year of his reign, Mansa Musa announced he would make the Hajj, the sacred Islamic pilgrimage to Mecca. Every Muslim who is able is required to make this journey once, but nobody in the entire history of the pilgrimage had ever made it the way Mansa Musa was about to. He spent years preparing, accumulating gold from across the empire, assembling an entourage that would announce to the entire world exactly who the Mali Empire was. When the caravan finally departed, it was unlike anything the ancient world had ever witnessed. 60,000 men, 12,000 servants, each one carrying 4 pounds of solid gold bars, 80 camels, each loaded with between 50 and 300 pounds of gold dust, 500 heralds dressed in Persian silk, each carrying a golden staff, a mobile mosque constructed every Friday so the emperor could pray, and herds of livestock to feed the entire procession. The caravan stretched so far across the horizon that those at the front could not see those at the back. The caravan's first major stop was Cairo, the largest city in Africa, home to over 1 million people, a city that had seen empires rise and fall. Nothing had prepared Cairo for Mansa Musa. When the emperor arrived at the outskirts of the city in July 1324, his caravan camped for 3 days by the pyramids of Giza before crossing the Nile. The streets of Cairo reportedly came to a standstill. The Mamluk Sultan al-Nasir Muhammad, one of the most powerful rulers in the Islamic world, requested an audience with Mansa Musa. The Sultan expected the emperor to bow. Mansa Musa refused. When he finally did bow, he declared he was bowing to God alone, not to any earthly king. In Cairo, Mansa Musa gave gold to everyone: the poor who lined the streets, the merchants who served him, the government officials who received him, the mosques he visited. Arab historian Shihab al-Umari, who visited Cairo 12 years after Mansa Musa had passed through, found the people of Cairo still talking about him, still singing his praises, still telling the stories. Because what Mansa Musa left behind in Cairo wasn't just generosity, it was devastation. Here is what nobody tells you about Mansa Musa's generosity. Gold in the medieval world was currency. Its value depended on scarcity. The less gold in circulation, the more each piece was worth. Mansa Musa flooded Cairo with so much gold that the basic laws of economics collapsed overnight. When gold is suddenly everywhere, it becomes worth less. Prices of goods that were previously measured in gold suddenly required more gold to buy the same things. Merchants who had saved gold their entire lives watched their savings lose their value in days. According to Arab historian al-Umari, before Mansa Musa arrived, 1 unit of gold in Egypt was worth 25 units of silver. After he left, it dropped to fewer than 22, and it stayed there for 12 years. Egypt's economy did not recover for over a decade after one man walked through. Mansa Musa later attempted to fix the damage. He borrowed gold back from Cairo merchants at high interest to try to remove some of the excess from circulation. It was the first recorded attempt in history to deliberately reverse inflation. But the damage was done. A man had crashed a national economy by being too generous. In the history of the world, that has never happened before or since. When Mansa Musa returned from Mecca, he brought with him some of the greatest architects in the Islamic world. He commissioned the construction of the Jinguriber Mosque in Timbuktu, a masterpiece of mud brick architecture that still stands today, 700 years later. He built universities, libraries, and palaces. He established Timbuktu as a center of Islamic scholarship that rivaled Cairo, Baghdad, and Constantinople. 25,000 students from across Africa, Arabia, and Persia came to study at the University of Sincor. Its libraries held over 700,000 manuscripts on mathematics, astronomy, medicine, philosophy, and law. The world Mansa Musa built was extraordinary. Under his reign, the Mali Empire was the most sophisticated, most wealthy, and most powerful empire on earth. And then he died. Around 1337, after 25 years on the throne, his sons could not hold the empire together. The trade routes shifted, rival kingdoms rose, and the Mali Empire, like all empires, slowly crumbled. But what happened next is the darkest part of the story. As the Mali Empire declined, the story of Mansa Musa began to fade. European powers arrived in West Africa. First, the Portuguese, then the Spanish, then the British. They came for the gold, the same gold that had made Mali the greatest empire on earth. And as they colonized and conquered, they rewrote the story of Africa. In their version, Africa had no great empires, no great kings, no great universities, no civilization worth remembering. It was a lie built to justify what they were doing, and it was enormously effective. The story of Mansa Musa, the man whose pilgrimage put West Africa on the European world map, literally was buried under centuries of colonial history. The Catalan Atlas of 1375 had shown him to the world. European mapmakers had drawn his face, crowned and golden, at the center of West Africa, because even medieval Europe could not ignore him. But by the time history books were being written in the 19th and 20th centuries by European scholars, Mansa Musa was a footnote, or nothing at all. The richest person who ever lived, the ruler of one of history's greatest empires, erased. Because the people writing history needed him not to exist. But history, no matter how hard you try, cannot stay buried forever. Archaeologists excavating ancient Timbuktu have recovered hundreds of thousands of manuscripts from the libraries Mansa Musa built, written in Arabic, in local African languages, covering mathematics, astronomy, medicine, and philosophy. Proof that while Europe was still in the Dark Ages, West Africa had universities, libraries, and a level of scholarship the rest of the world wouldn't catch up to for centuries. Today, Mansa Musa is slowly reclaiming his place in history. His story is taught in more schools. His face appears on the ancient maps that scholars study, and the Mali Empire is finally being recognized for what it was, one of the greatest civilizations in human history, not despite being African, because of everything Africa built. Mansa Musa ruled for 25 years, built an empire that stretched 2,000 miles, controlled half the world's gold, crashed a national economy with generosity, built universities that lasted 700 years, and was quietly erased from the history books that shaped what the world thinks it knows. The richest person who ever lived was an African king in the 14th century. And now you know. If this story changed how you see history, subscribe to Dark Chronicles, because every week we go back to the stories that someone, somewhere, desperately needed you to never find. The next one is even darker.